This is a real tricky day. So a couple of things we've got. Right, we've got the moon card on the 1 month overview for today. So bearish price swings and a notable decline. However, I think in the cases of when we look at the 1 day, when I'm looking at the 1 day for the 5th, what I see is the moon energy towards the end of the day. So maybe not so much bearish price swings as much as like a sharp drop, which is the moon card's bearish price swings or sharp drop or both. So I think in the case here it's sharp drop, but there's also some like swinging going on midday. We have the 5 of Cups, which is a failed attempt to break through key resistance on a 1 day chart that we would have expected to break through, and then we turn around, we break down through key support. So you combine that with a couple of things here, like the fact that there's, at the end of the day yesterday was the Wands card. We see there's a drop here, right? We have the Princess of Swords at the end of the day, so that price level would make money, is a good mean point for like by that price level I mean roughly like 370.78. It was determined yesterday as a good like mean point for a straddle or strangle. Well, we have that same card appearing today. It's interesting because on the overview it's bearish. On the 1 day, this hardly happens, but on the 1 day we have a pretty big move to the upside as far as the theme card. And what I'm seeing is that moon energy at the end of the day. There's some erratic behavior. I'm advised to open up protection here as well early in the day when we turn a resistance into new support in like the first half hour. So obviously there's a little bit of a downturn here between like, let's say 10 and 11ish, but then around 11 o'clock it looks like we have a trough, and we turn around and we rally back up and we do like 3 crisscrosses through the same price level roughly between like 11 and 12, and confirming at least like a short term on a 1 day chart, short term bullish trend. And then we revisit a crest midday in the midst of some erratic back and forth behavior. There's a crest that we revisit, and it was recently a past opportunity. And so midday we do that, and then we should have a drop off of a high at the end of the day, or like let's say the afternoon. It looks like it could even start around noontime, the drop, and then there's some volatility back and forth. But it's tricky because we've got this bullish behavior here, this bullish theme card. Everything's looking bearish pretty hard except off of the low. And that's another thing, guys, is that the low significator card here for the 5th, the lust card also appeared here early in the morning yesterday, right? You can see we had the lust card energy down here early in the morning, and we revisited it. So this could be a low, easily a low here. High and a low, and that would mean that we've got some pretty erratic behavior back and forth. So this is a tricky day. It could be good for trading if you're nimble. But it looks like we've got more than one failed attempt to break through key resistance on a 1 day chart here. Likely, my sense is that if there's a big move to the upside, it's going to take place here first thing in the morning like it is right now, and then maybe possibly again somewhere between like 11 and 12:30ish. And there may also be another push like in the midst of a decline at the end of the day, a push like maybe between like 2 and 3, a push to the upside in the midst of a sharp decline. But guys, look out, because we've got this universe card. It's a market-wide drop, a global thing, and it appears the following morning at the open. Ooh, it's like the decline that commenced here early at the end of the day today continued overnight into the tomorrow morning. We have a big gap down, so look out for that, guys. think overall we're pretty bearish. It's going to be a tricky day, guys. This is one of the more difficult daily readings that I've encountered, to be quite frank. For outside of like actual Mercury retrograde, I know it's still the influence, so technically it still qualifies as being erratic because of retrograde. But right, we have this we have a correlation here to a failed attempt to break through key resistance. That's in the pre-market, right? So we have this failed attempt to break through key resistance. Let's mark that on the chart. Okay, so we have that failed attempt to break through key resistance, or you could even say maybe it's like right here. Like between 374 50-ish and 375 50-ish, kind of after that area. And so we decline off of that, right? And at the open we have this like crest. We should have like some selling from that, right? We're at the top of the range on RSI here. We're at the top of the range, so we should have some selling. This is the selling from near overbought territory on RSI, right? So there's that, and then after the selling down, we have a move higher, turning resistance into new support. And at that moment, that's where I'm advised to open up some protection. So it's really like a back and forth kind of day. There's obviously opportunity here for a position on the short side because we've got all this negative decline energy at the end of the day. It is really tricky though, guys. You could get faked out really easily today. There's a lower low, it looks like, tomorrow. And we should rally. We should do some sideways rotation along a support level, key support level on a multi-day chart tomorrow, and then establish that support. And there's a really notable rally, guys, to meet the high on the 6th. However, okay, there it is. There's a rally first thing in the morning, actually, a big one. So yesterday, if you taken profits at the end of the day and positioned yourself for a little bit of a drop to the downside, you'd have been happy camper this morning, as advised. And if you didn't, no big deal, because we should see higher levels than we did yesterday by the end of the week. So on the 1 month, right, we've got this relief rally in the first week between like the 3rd and the 7th. A lot of stocks see a high and a low here in this first week, and then there's like some crazy price swing or some sort of like event that takes place here between the 10th and the 12th that really impacts the market in a really wild way. It's going to go like from like a sharp drop off of a high, and then from like a big move out of a low, and then we should see more decline into the end of the week, and it's going to be a pretty bearish. It's going to be a pretty bearish month, guys. So if you're new to this channel, guys, we don't just do S&P 500. I have a 98% average accuracy predicting pretty much any investment. It doesn't even need to be an investment. It's basically a timing system that I created over 22 years utilizing tarot. So it uses the the classic system of pictorial representation for meaning, and I'm able to determine what the chart behavior is going to be based on the card. I can tell you the candlestick, like decline. Right, the moon card is the decline, a sharp decline within some bearish price swings. What is this one? Sideways fluctuations with the bearish trend preceding a rally. Empress card is usually a good opportunity for a long position. I know that stuff because I was a Wall Street broker, had a near-death experience. Left Wall Street and spent the next 22 years of my life trading with tarot and learning how to form. I basically developed another system of using tarot on top of the pictorial representation. It's called ESO meta-analysis, and it utilizes pattern recognition basically operating off of entanglement, quantum entanglement, and fractal reality, those type of things. But in any regard, what I'm able to do is determine what the behavior of the S&P 500 is going to be by the hour with a 98% average accuracy. It doesn't mean that I see everything. I do not see everything. It doesn't mean I'm right all the time. I'm not right all the time. If you bet like I'm right all the time, you will lose your money. You have to be a smart trader. Right? The best way to utilize this information is really in tandem with technical analysis, because it fills in gaps of knowledge that you wouldn't possess otherwise. Hey, Besa. Good morning to you. There we go. So there's that selling from overbought territory on RSI. And my sense is that we haven't seen the success card yet, because we would successfully turn resistance into new support with the success card. So we should see another move. Yeah, actually, matter of fact, well, there's a pretty strong move, bullish move here between the 9:30 and 10 o'clock hour. So off of this move to the downside, we should see a move higher. In that move, like after establishing support, that's where I'm advised to open up some protection. Happy to be on in the morning. It seems like construction has kind of chilled out a little bit. They did start before 8 a.m. this morning, which is so illegal. It really pisses me off. But at least it seems to be coming to a completion. So at the end of the week, I'm recording a bunch of stuff during the Pisces new moon. Is it the Pisces? Let me make sure it's Pisces new moon. Well, it's close to it. It's not really that close to it anymore. I'm living in the past, but in any case, it's still the Pisces moon. It's Pisces influence, so I'll be doing a lot of recordings during Thursday and Friday. So far, I've got AMC for November. I've got AMD for November. Or excuse me, I've got Amazon for November, not AMD. I should have Coin, MGM. I've got XRP ready to record. And then I've got a lot more to do. Anything you guys are interested in seeing in November? See, here's that move that we should see. This is the fire. This rune indicates fire. So if you study Hermetic magic or Western alchemy, the fire element, and a lot of what I do, a lot of my predictions. A big part of the process of me interpreting these predictions has to do with alchemical energies. The four suits each carry an alchemical energy within. Each alchemical energy has a chart, trend, direction, overall trend or behavior. And so what we've got here is fire energy. Fire energy is obviously rally. Maybe it's not obvious, but it is to me. Rally higher. Fire energy is moving higher. Expansion. Excitement. Enthusiasm. GTII, yeah, I got that on the list. Let me see here. Oh, I have a 10-year for GTII that I almost finished. I got kind of caught up in stuff, but GTI I have a 10-year for that's coming out, and then I can do the November. I don't have Bitcoin already prepped to go. Usually I have that one ready by now, but I don't. But Bitcoin pretty much comes out every month. I do Bitcoin like I do Bitcoin every month because Bitcoin is like, to me, Bitcoin's like the S&P 500, like watching the S&P 500 for stocks. Bitcoin is like you watch Bitcoin for the overall trend direction of like all of the other cryptos for the most part. I'll be doing a 10-year for BTBT as well. Yeah, see, so we had moon energy at the high, right? The high yesterday was at the very end of the day, and you can see that's why I was like, we probably have a pretty notable drop here. We had the wands, Ace of Wands, opportunity to open up short position, mixed with something indicating that that's a good price point for a mean between both ends of a straddle or strangle. So it's important to remember that we will be higher than that price than yesterday's high at some point. But with all that said, we had the drop. That was the moon energy end of the day, and here we go. You could see the moon energy appeared here as well, first thing in the morning. So it was a good indication that it was a drop that would continue into the morning, and that's very similar to what I see happening here, guys. If you didn't catch this when I first got on, the universe card here at the end of the day today, bearish indication for opening lower, and then you've got the moon card. You've also got this heavy weight hanging down low here. So it's like a notable drop, market-wide drop that continued through the night. So we should see this move higher. Likely what happens is we see that's fire energy right there. Boom. So we should turn this resistance into support, and then crisscross back and forth 3 times through the same price level there, kind of like in a bullish kind of trend direction. But then midday it looks like we fall pretty hard. We may have a pop back at some point because there's these high core leaders here at the end of the day, but there's a lot of bearish energy over here. The only thing that makes me think maybe it's not going to be as bearish as indicated is because we've got this big move higher as the theme card. But I gotta say, man, these are some bearish cards. Like, these 3 together are bearish. They're very bearish. And the only overarching card that's bullish for today is the theme card for the S&P 500. If you go to the 1 month, it's the moon card. So it should be pretty interesting. We've got that 5 of Cups energy. 5 of Cups is like that back and forth erratic kind of behavior. It makes like an M formation through the same price level. So like you break through, it's like a double test of resistance. When coming at, like after establishing support, there's a double test of resistance. So after you establish support and you do a double test, you think you're breaking through on that second test, but in the case of the Five of Cups, you don't. You turn around and decline. Appreciate it, Visa. There's that construction. Do you guys hear the construction, or do I have the mic volume at the right level? You guys hear that construction in the background? Ugh, how annoying is it, Joe? Is it really bad? Is it really annoying? I was hoping my music would cover it. Yeah, so they woke me up with this noise at 7:45 in the morning today. Sorry, man. It's nothing I can do about it. Actually thinking about moving. Kind of tired of it. We get a second song when I can hire another guy to make one. Right now, I'm in Fort Lauderdale. The construction's literally right above me on our roof. I live in a penthouse apartment. It's supposed to be all quiet and away from people, but the board in this building is so ridiculous. Like, it's been construction at least one side of my apartment since I moved in almost 2 years ago. Like, they've been jackhammering. They were jackhammering for 4.5 months straight, every day from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., 10 feet from my bedroom, to fix a pool. And they just like passed this new law, or not law, but this new rule in my building where like you can't have the delivery guy come to your apartment door. You have to go downstairs and get your food when you deliver. I'm so busy, like all I do is like, when I don't cook, I have my food delivered, I go to the door and I get it and I come back to work. Now I have to go get in the elevator and go downstairs like 3 times a day to get my food. It's outrageous to me. It's like, it's made living here so uncomfortable, I don't even want to live here anymore. But I'll tell you, it's karma, because I would complain about the construction, and what you do when you open your mouth and you complain is you perpetuate more sin. I know, I recognize that. You should never complain. All it does is perpetuate that which you complain about. And as you raise your vibration, you become more influential in your domain. mistakes like that have bigger consequences. Like 2 years of construction. So 10 o'clock. Yeah, like I said, it's going to be a pretty tricky day. Choppy. So remember what I was saying, like price levels are more easily determined by looking at past price levels and where cards repeat. This is kind of what I mean. So like right here, I put a price level. Right, just a little bit after the open yesterday, we had the Lust card around like 10 o'clock, you could say. Right, so like right around here, we have the Lust card and then move to the upside, and you can see that we revisited that right here at the open, and that was a low. See, now that makes sense. That makes sense to me that would be a low, because we've got this futility card. Even in the face of some like really negative energies, we still move higher. The futility card again, guys. I sometimes I need to brush up on my own cards because there's so much information, my own interpretation. So I was looking at the futility card because I saw it a few times, and I was reminded that it's an intentional, a big move, intentionally. It's intended to like create impulsive decisions and like shake out short investors. Alright guys, I think probably what I'll do is I'll hop on around like midday, provided there isn't like super loud construction. I'll hop on when I see this like 3 crisscrosses and then we drop. And it is a tricky day though, I gotta say. You know, the more detail you get, the more overlapping information you get, the more concise you can get through about your interpretation and the details of the interpretation. But you have to you really have to put a lot of deductive reasoning into it. Sometimes there's not enough time. Cool. Alright guys, I'll be back on in a bit. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys later. Good luck trading.